Alrighty. Y'all can see the title. Let's go ahead and cut to the chase. So, I'll admit, like I was noticing with Glassno's video, not the video before that he did about with the Caleb Maupin stuff. Um, is that he did say I was black pill this now. I was a little bit nihilistic, and even that last video was a bit more, let's wait for collapse. So let me give some more pragmatic ideas, at least as I view it, for the United States. The United States, just like any other country or any other empire, there are plenty of people that do fall through the cracks. There's plenty of looking the other way that does go on. And I think that will become increasingly so. We see, of course, these corporations giving money to Black Lives Matter. I still feel like it's just kind of, basically it undermines and waters down the message, but ultimately it's also, they want to latch themselves onto something that's popular. So I can hold two different opinions at the same time. That is possible. But anyway, moving on from that, what is the reality of the future? Should we just wait for the collapse? Should we just wait for, the Civil War and get ready to, for someone to pass out the K-pots and, get ready for war? Let's not. Let's be more realistic. The realistic options, and like I say, once again, this is why I call it spitballing. This isn't any formed idea. Like I say, ultimately, you just have to kind of go with the flow and just see where you can and take advantage of what you see, and find the advantages that fit. And eventually it will start as individualist, and then it will become collective. That's my view. What do I mean by that? Well, for example, I would say finding land cheap is going to be a good option for people, and not just growing your own plants in your backyard. That's nice, but I think that, increasingly people are, in cities and everything else are finding ways to grow vegetables indoors, and they can just grow them artificially in that way. And I think that's becoming more of the future. That's not to say, you can't go out there and grow outside. I'm just saying is that you need as many options as possible. So I think that's part of it. I mean, it would be nice to become more of a, an am-prim society, but that's not realistic. That's not really what I'm going to preach about. That's, it's nice LARPing, but but I would say starting to realize what that land potential is, and then learning about how technology works. I think that's definitely important, and how, find people that can code that are on your side. You find other folks, where you can build, like I say, build some sort of Mentorbund, but not use that phrase because that's kind of cringe. It's kind of, it has gay connotations, really. It really does. But anyway, build networks, and build people that kind of wink, wink, nod, nod. Everyone kind of has an idea about what's going on. So let me just make sure. So first, land, and how you can make that land work. 2, actually, you know what? Number 1 should really be the networking. Yeah, networking, and then second would be land. Networking would include, making friends with lawyers, making friends with other folks. Screw it. I'll just say, maybe get an idea of the local law enforcement, and maybe they, maybe you could see where that goes. I know people are going to say, oh, the Nazis are cops anyway, the cops recruit from Nazis. Okay, that's fine. And there's probably some proof to that. But anyway, I would also say is, of course, would be on the list. I mean, I'm saying this not necessarily in priority. It's just, like I said, I'm literally just spitballing here. This is just stuff that's popping out of my head. But realistically, like I would say not to stay in places like, California in general. It's like, yeah, you can find communities here and there. Don't get me wrong, and I'm sure that they may exist, but in general, you're going to be you're going to be a group of gazelle amongst lions and hyenas that are going to be coming for you. Let's just be honest, you know. And I know that's kind of more of a conservative thought. Oh, California, California. It's just, but yeah, I mean, of course, who knows? Like I say, be loose, stay loose, and just see where it goes. But I would say realistically that, you know, and moving from Cali, unironically this year. Oh, okay. Huh. Okay. Well, that's fine. Like I say, most of this is just going to be me talking. I would say also is that make some international friends, particularly Russia and China. More so Russia. I think China isn't really going to have as much, you can still make friends with them, but always realize that, they're going to be more Chinese nationalistic. I mean, Russian nationalistic, yeah, that exists too, but I think that there's a commonality with, maybe orthodoxy and also, just depending on their beliefs. I think that, building building some business connections and maybe political connections would be good. Now, of course, I mean, the political thing, that probably won't happen, but at least building some sort of connections with Russia is definitely realistic. I know, oh, Trump works with Russia. Look at I saw, this is another side point, but I saw Vosh defending Rachel Maddow and saying that, he didn't say Russiagate was true, but he was defending Rachel Maddow and saying that Rachel Maddow was providing a class analysis of the. I was just like, oh my goodness. But yeah, anyway, just goes to show he's an opportunist. I've given enough airtime to him. But anyway, I would say building connections outside of that. I would also say, the prepping, keep that within reason. I would put prepping further down the list because you'll get a lot of these every man for themselves type of things. I mean, it's like, you could get your bunker and all that business, get your bug out place and everything if you have the money. But I think that realistically, a nuclear war is not going to happen. I say that, for the most part, it's not going to happen. Other than, there are so many safeties on that. And also, nobody has the cojones to do that. I really don't think they do, but then again, it could happen. But in general, I would say it's not going to. At least that's my very uneducated opinion. I would also say building connections, starting a family would be another option as well. If you're older, I would say at least try not to be a creeper and maybe at least try to learn some sort of trade. I would say if you're young enough, or if you're older like me, find a way to kind of BS your way through. I don't really have a good option for that one, but I would say, building up some sort of, connection would be good. And I think that, we would just have to see, Montana wife win. Yeah. Yeah. You never know. Yeah. But I think Montana will definitely be good land, even though a lot of, at least from my assumption, is a lot of the good stuff, particularly the land, is owned by, people like, Ted Turner and this and that. I think that, I mean, who knows if they, if worse comes to worse, I mean, are they going to go on there and, out in Montana and have their own private armies? Who knows? But yeah, that's going to be an issue too in the future, is that, private military companies are going to be the ones that are going to be taking over. So even if concessions are made and the police are disbanded or they're severely reduced, PMCs are going to be the ones that are going to be running the show. And I think that you need to be cognizant of that. They aren't your friends, and that's probably going to be the reality. I was listening to Keith Woods. He had a video on BitChute that he was talking about, of course, Stefan Molyneux getting kicked off, and I mean overall, I mean, who cares? I mean, it's one less person for Bread2 to make fun of. I hate to say it like that, but Stefan Molyneux is going to be fine. Okay, he's going to be fine. Oh my gosh, his YouTube channel's gone. Oh, I think there was somebody else too that got kicked off, but it's like, so what? I hate to be like that, but it's like we cannot keep wasting our time like, oh well, you can't keep begging, corporations for a platform, because of course, what has Gab turned into? It's just turned into Fed Central, and that other new one is going to turn into Fed Central. Same way as Telegram. Telegram is of course already Fed gang. We have to move on from that. We have to go back to the old days of like messages in bottles or something like that, and just secret codes and all that type of thing. That's probably what'll happen. I think it probably exists to some degree, but I think that's more of the reality. Yeah, he's apparently hurting from revenue. He says so in every stream. Yeah. Oh yeah, Stefan Molyneux. Yeah. I don't really care about Steph. He can go back into academia if he. I mean, it's like the only thing I really care about with Stefan Molyneux, I'll be dead honest with y'all, was just the Truth of series, where he was talking about like Che Guevara and talking about, Abraham Lincoln and other folks like that. That's all I really gave a hoot about him. It's like the rest of it, it's like I had already seen that he was a shill, this and that, and he was, full of it. I don't know, man. Like I say, it's gonna, people have to at least give some sort of lip service to the system for now, and I think, but also be ready to drop it all and start up somewhere else. And I think what Keith was saying is pretty realistic. I think for the actual future. It will be sort of a feudalism where these corporations rule everything, and yet people can be kicked out, and people will lose their jobs, and they'll be forced to work these prison systems. I remember I was just going by this one forum place, at least they call it Blank Forum. I'm not gonna dox myself too much, but anyway, and I saw the county jail. They had them weed whacking and mowing the lawns. And I saw them even walking through the YMCA that I went to. Yeah. Yeah, BitChute, Wearby. Yeah. BitChute, I mean, BitChute is like 2014 YouTube, really. 2014 and 2015 YouTube. That's really what it is. But it's so much worse because it's just such cringe when you see those comments. I'm like, oh my goodness. It's just, but it's whatever. I mean, really, BitChute is just, it is what it is, but I would say, the future is very uncertain. I think a lot of people have their ideas, and people think, well, the left-wing folks think, well, we're going to win, and we're going to, unite people and, get rid of the fascists, and, we can convert fascists. And I don't really think that's true. I think more realistically, is that corporations will continue to take more power. And, a lot of people are going to be left in the dust. But it's going to take time before people realize it. People are still kind of in the days in general. They're still fighting over, police brutality, this and that. Police brutality is one thing, though. That only affects black folks, basically, in general. I know. White folks are killed by cops, too. I know. But in general, they're the ones getting upset about it. And they're the ones that are doing something about it. White folks aren't the ones doing it. Because white folks are too tamed by the system. We don't want to pretend that we're racist. We, for the most part, that's what white folks do nowadays. We'll just be like, I'll do anything. Yeah, it's like they will eat their firstborn nearly to show that they aren't racist. But that's, once again, let's focus on the future. I keep on getting off topic. I'm going to try to stay laser focused. So I would say, once again, that really what this video comes down to is we're going to have to break bread with people that we don't like. Such as the same way with the National Socialists, such as the way with the Bolsheviks. They made their deals with the Mensheviks and everything else. And they even considered Yuli Martov, or what is his real name? What is that guy's real? What was Yuli Martov's real name? What was his real name? And bug the hell out of me. Yuli Sederbaum. There we go. Yeah, Julius Sederbaum, or Yuli Osipovich Sederbaum. The leader, became the leader of the Mensheviks. They made their deals with those folks, and of course later on they, turned on this and that. Same thing with Robert Mugabe. He called himself a Marxist-Leninist. He was in jail, similar to Mandela. Once he came out, though, he became pretty capitalist, didn't he? And he did what he had to do. I think that's what's going to happen with the future as well. Whoever is going to, whatever group or whatever, folks that talk about, freedom and talk about national liberation, this and that, those folks are going to turn, quote unquote, fascist as well. They're going to want freedom for their own people and don't really care about everybody else. That's kind of what I was linking at in the beginning. But I think that connections are important. You can't live off of, just vegetables that you grow all the time. You can't just live off of, meat, this and that. It's just like nobody, no one, I think, even in this present day, as much as we claim we can completely live off the grid. Society is far too complicated for that. So I think the deals have to be made, and, we're going to have to see where things go. But I think that that's a more realistic idea. What else can I say? What else can I really say? I would say keep yourself in shape in some way. I'm trying to get back in shape and lose this spare tire I have. I'm trying to fast a little bit, but that's the whole thing. Yeah. Probably ain't going to be Gucci. No, it isn't. Yeah, the future is not going to be Gucci. It is definitely not. It's not even going to be... it's not even going to be Massimo. Sorry. That was a poor joke. But yeah, I feel like I mean, what can you be hopeful for? Yeah, I do. I've been pumping out a lot of I've just been bored and everything else. Like I say, I think I will really try to make an effort tomorrow. I'll try to go to sleep somewhat early. It's about, anywho, but I'll try to go to bed early tonight, and then I'll do some more of the books. I'll do Revolt of the Elites, so I'll read that a bit more. I'll just record that on videos and do that. But I think, like I say, we're just spitballing here, and we have to keep our minds open. A lot of things are going to change, this and that. Reversals will happen, So you have to be kind of, like I say, I don't have any grand vision. And I think that people who have grand visions always try to leave some room so that they have wiggle room so they can say, well, just because I said that doesn't mean, I think that we should do the same. We shouldn't have any grand visions of saying, oh, yeah, well, we're going to have some, Cascadia or something like that. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. I think that in general, there are going to be pockets. There are going to be pockets here and there. I think while it's nice to say, well, you should leave the South or leave where you live, and that's not possible for most people. It isn't. And even if you do, you're going to be starting over new, most likely flat broke. And it's unrealistic. So I'm trying not to be blackpilling, but I'm trying to be realistic as well. Is that building up connections with other folks, seeing who are going to be the new players. Like I say, Russia and China are definitely going to be some of the new players. Europe, a lot of the West is dying out. And it's just going to be a slow, painful hurt. But I think that's the real future. But I think that people will find a way to survive. It's just how do we get ready and prepare for what's going to inevitably happen. That's the whole thing, you know. The East will be glorious. Yeah, it will. And I think once the United States government falls, I think another thing just talking about the future is as well is that, people are going to be looking for war criminals in the United States, much the same way as they were looking for them in, after the fall of Nazi Germany. And the hunt is going to be on for different generals and for State Department folks, this and that. The thing is, though, those folks are much less ideologically pure than a lot of the Nazis. So they're not going to just kill themselves. I don't think they will. They don't have the stomach to do that. They're too cowardly. They will simply go to another country and they will continue their business in whatever country allows them in or whatever area allows them. That's my take anyway. As much as people will claim, oh, well, we hate America, this and that, and America bombs these countries, those same State Department folks, those same CIA agents and everything else, those same folks will find a way to snake their way into another country. And of course, there is a chance, of course, that, there will be American migrants who will arrive, probably ironically in Mexico, depending on how bad things get. Or they will join the Chinese and Russians. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, they could. But, we have to be aware of that type of thing. It could be the same. It's really hard to tell, isn't it? It's really hard to tell where all the players are, and it's harder than any other time because things are so opaque. It really is. It's very opaque to try to find out what's actually going on today. So there are ideas and plans that were talked about, but in general now, relatively speaking, is things are kept kind of low key, and the ideas are kind of slowly being spread. I mean, me being kind of a recovering truther, you can talk about the Bilderberg meetings or talk about Bill Gates or anything else, but we have to see where that's going to go. I was trying to be blackpilling, and yet I'm kind of falling into the black pill. I'm sorry if I'm giving y'all the nihilist pill. I apologize. I would say, what should I say? I say that in every video now. What should I say? I don't know. But I would say, Google, Ansel. Yeah. I mean, what? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that I really do have a feeling deep down is that we will survive somehow. We're going to survive somehow. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be glorious. It's not going to be the 1950s. It's not going to be it's not going to be any other time. It's going to be 2020. And it's going to be from here on. It's not going to exactly be a sci-fi movie that we saw in the 1980s. It's not going to be, Mad Max, maybe. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a mix of all these things. Who knows? A lot of the time when they say these things, it's just, well, I've read these stories, so I know. It's just like when the History Channel did shows about, well, what would happen if we all died? What would happen to all these buildings? There's a cheap fascination, or even when they said, well, doomsday could happen, this and that. Remember when all that stuff came out back in 2012 and now? And of course, now a lot of the lefties still believe, well, we only have 10 years left. We only have this many years left. I believe we're resourceful. We're smarter than that. The Martians, it looks like, at least according to some say, they built stuff underground. And that'll probably be somewhat of the future, and it'll probably be more of a not a democratic society, I'll tell you that. It'll be more of a, it'll be more of a, mercantilist system, maybe more of a, just straight up, it's not going to be socialism. But there's so many different options. I think that's the whole thing. The future is very dim, though, in general. It is. But I think that we will find a way out. And when I say we, I mean the royal we. is we will in that other people will be able to kind of drop the breadcrumbs for us to find. And I think that's really all I have. I really don't know where to go from there, to be honest with you. But I think that, yeah, still waiting for Nibiru. Yeah, yeah, I've heard of Nibiru. What is Nibiru? Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh. And the cataclysm. Okay, the cataclysm. Okay, yeah, yeah. Oh, okay, okay. Oh, we shall see, though, won't we? Thing is, it's like, it's part nihilist, but it's also part just is so easy to grab onto that whole let's wait for the collapse and let's wait for this type of thing. It is. It's easy to grab, and unfortunately, I will probably refer to that as much as it's a little bit too nihilistic, but I'll try to tone it down and try to find a more positive range to do it. It's going to be harder, but I'll find a way. I think that the future can be saved. I think somehow. And I think that we just have to be willing to see where it goes, and maybe even dare I say, looking beyond the simplistic ideas that we have in our heads of what could be in terms of a pure society, this and that. Yeah, we should try to keep that in mind, but it's we will see where it goes, won't we? I'm just rambling. I'm just repeating myself at this point. I think I've said my piece. Thank you to Post Nazbol Judaism for his comments. And I think basically if you take nothing else from this 30-minute yawnorama, I'm sorry, it is kind of boring, but is make friends. Learn to see where the system goes. Make connections with all sorts of different people, regardless of how you feel about them, whether personally or what otherwise, whatever you may do or feel about them. I think you have to, yeah. Been drinking. Yeah. I've been drinking. And the thing is, I don't have to be crazy to, I can do crazy all on my own. I don't need alcohol to be crazy. I don't have to be. I don't have to be crazy. I don't have to drink to be crazy. I don't have to pop pills to be crazy. I can do crazy all on my own. It's just I'm better at hiding it now. That's all. That's all I can really tell you. I think that's all I can say. I think that I don't have a good quote. I'm just gonna end it here. Y'all have a good one. And oh hey Joseph. I guess all I can really say is just take it easy. I know that no one can really enjoy July the 4th. Just try not to join those morons who are shooting off M80s and are going to shoot off stuff in your neighborhood and the drunks that you'll meet probably. The ones that went to the liquor store. Let's hope on it. Let's look at that. Just try to enjoy that. And just try to enjoy yourselves. So anyway, I'm going to see y'all later. Have a good night. Bye-bye.